What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in the Khaliis Take. You know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell just so you can get the newest and the bonus content first. But hey, let's just go ahead and jump right in. LeBron and the Lakers should really be embarrassed by what went down today. Matter of fact, they should be embarrassed by just the whole season in general. I mean, it hasn't been a season for them to remember. It has been a season that they feel like they have not lived up to expectation, and they haven't. Before the season started, they were looked at as, a team that's going to the NBA Finals, and now they find themselves being a team that might not make the play-in tournament. And when I say might not, I think I'm being polite about that, because based upon what we see with this team, whether they have two superstars on the floor or just one, they just can't find ways to win because of their defense. And defensively, all three of their superstars are in decline because one stays hurt in Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook never played defense, and LeBron is far from playing defense at the level that he used to simply because of his age. So when you look at that in its entirety, everything is just dwindling down for the Lakers. And when you look at the percentages of what they had of making the play-in tournament, at one point about a week ago it was 25. Now it's down to about 7% or less, and it might be even more than that, instead of the fact they lost to the Nuggets yesterday in regards to, the standings, because they're still trying to fight an uphill battle, I would say, trying to outdo the Spurs, who have a way easier schedule. I think they have the Trailblazers like one more time, I believe, outside of playing them last night. Or outside playing them. It's a harder schedule for the Lakers going forward. So, it's gonna be tougher for them to win. And now I'd say they're like, a game and a half out, a full game and a half out of the play-in tournament. So it's going to be even tougher now. It's only like 3 to 5 games left in the season for every team. The Lakers really can't blame nobody but themselves. LeBron and the Lakers can't blame nobody but themselves, putting themselves in this predicament. It's a bad situation for them to be in, but at the same time, it's the situation they put themselves in. You have to be accountable for what you do. LeBron wanted Westbrook. They didn't get Buddy Hield. He wanted Westbrook traded. They couldn't trade him because the value wasn't there. You can go through the whole list of things, the reason why the Lakers weren't as successful this year or anything like that. But, you could talk about that all you want, but it really doesn't matter at this point, because it's a bust season if you don't win a championship, especially when you wear the purple and gold. That's just the way it is. Everybody understands that. Everybody knows it. And everybody believes in that. Simply, I would say everybody believes in regards to, when it comes to basketball, because that's just pretty much what the Lakers are all about. They got 17 championships for a reason. Either you win it or you don't. And like I said, the LeBron and the Lakers really should be embarrassed by this one. They should be embarrassed because, you can't even make the play-in tournament, and right now, like I said, of course, theoretically, ideally there's still a chance for them to make it, but there technically is no chance for them to make it because, like I said, the Spurs are just going to win more games, and the Lakers, they can't depend on LeBron being there because his ankle is bothering him. Anthony Davis looks like, his ankle was bothering him as well in the game that they were playing yesterday against Utah. So against the Denver Nuggets. So it's like you definitely can't depend on his health. Now LeBron's health, little knick-knack injuries are starting to bother him a lot, throughout these games and everything like that. So even though he put up a lot of points this year and made a lot of haywire in regards to what he's been able to do at this age, it doesn't matter really, because it doesn't equate to winning. And as I said before, if it doesn't equate to winning, then it really doesn't matter. Nobody really cares. And that's pretty much where we are with the situation. And it's overly embarrassing because you got 3 superstars. You got some decent name role players, even though they're out of their prime, just like the superstars are. But still, to me, all that veteran leadership and all that they have on that bench, you should at least be able to make a play-in tournament. It's just it's mind-boggling that they're not even good enough to make a play-in tournament with all the talent that they have on their roster. And they have a pretty decent coach in Frank Vogel. He's not the worst coach in the world. The guy won a championship with the Lakers just a couple seasons ago. So I would say he know how to coach a little bit. If anything, I think their front office is trash. Rob Pelinka and people people like that. But, at the same time, that's what happened. They lost Jerry West. They lost Magic Johnson throughout the years. They lost some powerful names in the front office. So, that makes a lot of difference when you're trying to win and when you're trying to put the right pieces around certain players to help you win. So, it's all around the Lakers season. It's been pretty much, is what it is. A lot of people might say the Lakers are better than their record and, they should have been a better team this year and all this stuff. But, truth be told, you are what your record is. If your record says you're 10, 11 games below 500, that's what you are. You can't expect any more. And as I said before, I don't believe Anthony Davis coming back. As I said in a few videos ago, Anthony Davis come back going to make much difference because he can't stay healthy himself. And that's one thing that the Lakers are looking at heavily. That's the reason why I think he might be possibly the first one to get traded when the offseason comes, because he just can't stay healthy, just like he couldn't do in New Orleans. So, he's no different than the player he was in New Orleans. He just got a championship with the Lakers because they had a 4-month layoff and they gave him all the rest he needed to stay healthy enough to play through it. So, the bubble, that's the reason why some people say the bubble championship has an asterisk beside it. But to me, if you win it, you win it. That's it. There shouldn't be no asterisk. I disagree with that. But at the same time, like I said, I can see why people say that, because it was definitely an advantage for them. LeBron got more rest, AD had got more rest, and one was older, one is injury prone. So rest benefited those two players more than any other player in the bubble. So, shout out to them for getting the championship. But since then, it's been really a mess since then. It's just been injury after injury, excuse after excuse. And at this point, like I said, for the Lakers, it's pretty much done. They're pretty much cooked, because if they can win out the rest of their games, which is 3-4 games, you got to hope the Spurs lose all theirs. And like I said, the Lakers winning out anything is really tough because they can't string together one good win, except one. It seems like they win once a month, on average. So, it doesn't seem like, the way they play is good enough to count on each other to go out there and put together a few wins consecutively. So, it's just not where their team is and how they play and, how they've, played up to this point. So, it's just really, really embarrassing basketball. One of the best teams in NBA history is going down, not even going to make a play-in tournament, possibly, and that's almost like a second chance to make the playoffs. Because like I said, just a couple years ago, there was no such thing as a play-in tournament. So if you were below the 8th seed, you just didn't get in. You didn't even have an opportunity. So now it's more of an opportunity to get in, and the Lakers still can't get in. Something's really wrong with that picture to me. They need to either blow this team up or, figure out something, because right now, looking at this, I know LeBron's sitting out some games, but some of these games they should win with LeBron, without LeBron, with AD, without AD. You still got two superstars on the floor, even though one superstar goes down. So, you still got enough help to win. You just got to find ways to do it. And that's just clearly not something that the Lakers have figured out. So until they do, the season will stay this way and continue this way if they keep the same team going in the next season, unless they really figure out a way to hit their peak. And right now, it just doesn't seem that way. And I don't know if they're going to be together enough to see how they're going to pan out next year, because I definitely think it'll be a lot of changes. And whether good or bad, I definitely think the changes are coming, especially if they go out this year, without even making the play-in tournament, which would be overly embarrassing for their fans, but at the same time, just overly embarrassing for the organization. But hey, that's my take on everything. Leave any comments in the comment section as always. Hey, Khaliis out.